Had it not been for a last-minute maneuvering by Deputy Majority Leader Afenyo-Markin, the House was all but set to pass the controversial anti-LGBTQ bill today. The Deputy Majority Leader was on his feet to move a motion for the second consideration of this bill. He is still opposed to imposing custodial sentences. He is opposed to jailing people for engaging in LGBTQ or promoting the LGBTQ activities. He says, instead of imposing custodial sentence, how about fines? He insists he is not opposed to the principle of the bill, but he does not believe people must go to jail for this.
To jail a person for his sexuality or her sexuality would not be the solution in maintaining our Ghanaian family values and ensuring proper human sexual rights. Mr. Speaker, in the list, such individuals who get into our jails become worse off. Mr. Speaker, as a law student, in my final year at Makola, upon visiting in Sawom with my colleagues, it became clear that inmates were being sodomized. It became clear that people were rather getting deeper into that habit and that behavioral aspect of our culture that we dislike. I dare say, Mr. Speaker, that will be retrogressive should we insist as a House on a third reading with these incarceration provisions in the bill.
But quite surprisingly, the sponsors of the bill were not opposed to this. They actually lent their support to this motion. We first heard from the minority chief whip, Gavin Kwame Agboja, who raised some issues with the points that had been canvassed by the Deputy Majority Leader.
My colleague, yes. In fact, there's no argument against the second consideration stage. However, Mr. Speaker, I must say my colleague is abusing Order 171 because, Mr. Speaker, the last time he took to the floor for almost 1 hour and made the same arguments, and then we ended up voting.
Co-sponsor of the bill, Roxy Nelson Dafamekpo, was also on his feet to back this position, but also express some misgivings about the positions shared by the Deputy Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this is the provision my brother, the Deputy Majority Leader, relied on. Mr. Speaker, yet in his entire submission, because the proposed amendment that he intends to move is not advertised, he could not state it clearly as part of the submission. He made a very substantial submission, but it didn't come up clearly exactly which provision of the bill that he intends to be taken through the second stage of consideration.
The House put this motion moved by the Deputy Majority Leader to a vote, and it carried. The House then had to go through a second consideration stage, but not without some controversies as to what the role of the chairman of the Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs Committee should be in all this.
That anybody would want to shy away from that. But I think I need to be given a copy of that. As I speak now, I'm traveling with the ranking member of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and he is airborne now.
We've gone beyond that. I think for some time now, I've been drawing your attention to the fact that the compiled draft bill after the consideration stage has been sent to your official emails.
The House has started the second consideration of this bill. In the coming days, the House will continue. And with the rate at which the House is going, it is expected that the House will pass this controversial bill before it rises for Easter break somewhat on the 27th of March of this year. But Sam George and his co-sponsors are really opposed to the idea of removing custodial sentences from this bill. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.